as I said, the larger banks really, are not that exposed to unsecured in the greater scheme of things. So once again, from a lending perspective, there may be a bit of stress, but I would not call it a bubble. The real impact is, what happens with consumers and how are they able to deleverage themselves and get themselves out of a hole that they've dug them, that they've been thrown into.
So the question for an insider, which is what you are, is would you own or buy Able and Capitec stock?
Those are my customers, so I can't comment specifically. But
I mean, you're holding piles of it. So you can't go short on that.
No. But here's what I can say: is consumers are under stress, and I think they're going to be for some time. I don't see this, fixing next quarter or the quarter after. I think consumers are going to be in a fairly pinched space for at least the next year.
Thank you, Jeff. That was Jeff Miller, the Chief Executive of the Union here in South Africa. Well, a proposed ban on alcohol advertising will result in the loss of 4.3 billion rand for sports development and cost the broadcasting media, not really us, but most of the other guys, 1.5 billion rand. That's per year. The alcohol industry is calling for more consultation on the alcohol policy. And earlier I spoke with Michael Mabasa. He's from the Association for Responsible Alcohol Use, and asked who's behind the funding of his organization.
We obviously represent all the major alcohol companies in South Africa, and they are mainly responsible for funding the association, all the activities that we embark on.
So SABMiller, the wine farms, wine companies, and so on.
SABMiller, Distel, Brand House, all the spirits businesses, Pernod Ricard, and all other players in the country.
You talk about responsible use. So in other words, you don't want people to drink too much, but they must drink for a long time, I guess.
Well, look, alcohol is obviously for recreational purposes. Mainly people engage in alcohol when they want to go out, for an example, for dinner, or they want to organize parties and so on and so forth. And we obviously recognize the fact that if it is not used accordingly and properly, it might obviously cause a number of challenges for the consumers. And we believe very strongly that as an association, that we need to obviously make sure that we educate people to use this particular product responsibly, so that they can be able to make sure that we're able to not have problems that alcohol could potentially cause for society.
That's your job?
That's our job as the association. That's correct.
It's interesting, I know we're deviating here, but in the gaming industry, as they like to call themselves, in gambling, they generate a big chunk of their money from the high rollers, from the people, problem gamblers. Yeah. What happens in alcohol? Do you similar situation where the heavy drinkers will take a disproportionate share?
Well, not necessarily. I think we deal directly as the association with manufacturers of these particular brands, and we say to them, because you're producing, you're marketing, and you're distributing these products in the market, we need to obviously make sure that there is an important element, which is the social element, the social element of making sure that we're able to educate people about the dangers of drinking irresponsibly, and that's where we come in as the association to work with the industry so that we can be able to make sure that we're able to educate people about the responsible use of alcohol.
How much of the turnover, or how much of the money that's spent on alcohol consumption is used by yourselves?
Well, look, the different companies that are our members, they contribute. For an example, SAB contributes about 2 million rands per annum towards the association, and also all other members. So each and every, for you to be a member of the association, you make a contribution, and we use that particular money in order for us to be able to devote it to different activities.
Michael, that 2 million rand per annum is not even a drop in the ocean.
Well, if you look at SAB alone, but I'm saying we've got a number of different members who subscribe
now,
to the association.
2 million rand from SAB wouldn't even rate on the decimal scale.
Yeah.
Should you not, and clearly you would say yes, but should the industry not be putting a little bit more money into what you're trying to do?
Well, remember that the association run its own activities, and companies themselves in their own right also have programs to be able to educate people about responsible drinking and so on. So, we're supplementing what companies are already doing.
Great. One of the issues that you're dealing with right now is banning alcohol advertising. Yeah. You're calling for more consultation.
Yeah.
And what's the reaction been like?
Well, look, I think the happening is that the Minister of Health has already gone to Cabinet to request Cabinet to approve this particular bill. As I'm sitting here with you, I have not seen that bill. As the association was saying, the Minister has gone ahead to go to Cabinet to request Cabinet to approve a bill that the industry has not engaged on. So we feel extremely disempowered as the association, and certainly as the players, as the industry, that you cannot advocate for changes and not engage people who are actually producing this particular products to say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to, how I want to do it, and so on and so forth. The only thing that we know as the industry is the public pronouncements that we've heard the minister talking about in the media space, and so on and so forth. But there hasn't been direct consultations with
That's extraordinary, because this is something that is going to affect you directly and affect clearly lots of jobs. And yet there's been consultation at all. Have you tried?
We have. We've actually engaged the department in numerous occasions to be able to say, we hear that you would want to ban alcohol advertising. Can we talk about it? What are the elements that you are concerned about? And what is it that we can do as the industry to assist in making sure that we are able to achieve the objectives that we would want to set on the bill? And Alec, I think our view is that we actually agree with most of the things that the minister is concerned about. Firstly, the issue around the frequency of adverts on television, alcohol adverts on television. We believe very strongly as the alcohol industry that we can actually reduce those, particularly during family viewing time where there are small children and so on and so forth, and devote those particular adverts, particularly at night and so on and so forth. So there could be an equation that we could work out in order for us to...
So rather, what you're saying is rather, let's get together, let's discuss it, and we can find a solution that everybody will be happy with.
Certainly, because the objective of the minister is saying if he bans alcohol advertising, he will be able to reduce consumption. Our view is that that won't happen. You cannot ban advertising and hope that people won't drink alcohol.
And that was Michael Mabasa from the Association for Responsible Alcohol Use. Now remember, you can email us on powerlunch@abn360.com. We look forward to hearing your views. But after the break, we take a look at Imperial Logistics going to the Competition Commission to initiate a market inquiry into the general state of competition in the domestic overnight express air freight market. More Power Lunch right after this.
Power Lunch, brought to you by Altec. Leading technologies, touching lives.